Good morning, Kings. Today we're going to be going over rope and knot tying, covering some lashings and some other stuff. I'll be teaching from TM5 725 rigging. This is a U.S. Army manual printed 1968. You can also get a copy of the Boy Scout Pioneering Merit Badge Handbook, and it has just about the same information in it. I got this for $5 at my surplus store. So they should be pretty available, or you can find it on Amazon. So first, we'll get to rope. You'll find two types of rope: natural rope and plastic rope. So this right here has a working load of 244 pounds, and this is only 3/8. That's the size. This natural rope here is only 1/4 inch. Home Depot is all out of 3/8, so I couldn't give you guys an accurate comparison, but the working weight for this rope is only about 44 pounds. So the advantage with this rope is that you get a lot more working weight that you can use than this. However, you can do a lot more stuff with this, especially find it useful for doing lashings and yeah, a lot of lashings. It just makes it it holds very good to the wood. So when you're using this kinds of rope, well, really any rope, whenever you cut it, it's going to start fraying. So for plastic rope, what you're going to want to do is take a lighter, and you're going to want to just take that to the edge of the plastic, and the goal is just to melt it just a little bit, so that way it doesn't start coming apart. Because it's plastic, it will melt. Now, natural rope is very different. So with natural rope, what you have to do is called whipping. This right here. So I'll teach you guys how to whip a rope. So first, you want to get a decent length. I'm gonna do 3 wingspans. So, right here is where we're going to cut the rope, but we don't want the rope to come apart. So what we are going to do is you're going to take some twine. I got this spool for about $3 at Home Depot. So you're going to take your twine, and you're just going to have it like this, okay? And you're going to put that on your rope. See? Just a little loop, you know, nothing special, basically folding it in half. And then you're going to put that over here. Now you want this end, I don't know if you can see that, you want this little end exposed, and then this is what you're going to be working with. So it's very easy. All you do is just start wrapping, and you want to wrap it tight, and you want to just keep going around. Everybody does it a little different. I like to give it about 1.5 inches, maybe a little longer than that, but the goal is just wrap it tight and make sure that it's long enough that the friction of it holds it together. Now, we've wrapped this up here pretty far. Honestly, for a rope this small, this is definitely long enough, maybe even a little overkill. So as we see, it looks kind of like a little noose here. So we have a bunch of wrappings all around, and then we have this end. So all we're going to do is send that straight through the loop. So you're going to pull your working end out of the loop, and now what you're going to do is grab this end that I told you at the beginning to make sure is still exposed, and you're just going to pull. And as you pull it, it's going to bring that loop in and in and in. So you want to keep pulling until that little loop of yours goes inside of here. It'd be ideal to be in the middle, but sometimes, especially depending on how tight you wrap it, it's not always possible. But that should be tightened very tightly. And all you're gonna do is cut these ends here, because we don't need that. Now, we're cutting it here. We don't want this end to get frayed as well. So we're gonna do the same thing right over here. Once again, take that, send it through the loop, hold this end, grab the other end, pull that other end taut. And that should do us just fine. So we'll cut the end of that. Now we have it on two sides, so we're all good to cut it here. And now we have a rope completely whipped and ready for using. Now we will be going over some knots that I found extremely useful. The first one is probably the easiest, and this is the square knot. So what I want you to do is to get your own rope, and I want you to do this with me. Now, you're gonna have both of your ends, all right, and you're gonna have your right side. That's going to go over your left to make an X. Tuck it under. Pull it a little bit. It's the very first step in tying your shoes, so this ought to come very easy for most people. Now, you're going to take this one, just put it over, make that X, tuck that in the loop, pull it. You're going to notice you just made a little loop here, and you'll know it's a square knot if you can do this. So the idea of this is that would just tighten and tighten and tighten the more that it gets pulled away. I found this knot's just very useful for combining two pieces of rope. Now, for the sheet bend, what you're going to do is you're going to have your rope like this, okay? You're going to take your smaller rope. It's going to go up like this. You're going to swing it around. Now, right here, okay, tuck it through. Do you guys see how I did that? Now you're just going to pull that taut. Now, if you take a look at it, right there, it's dead giveaway. This looks almost identical to the bowline. Now, the bowline is not, we'll be getting to after this one, and it serves a different purpose. The sheet bend is kind of the bowline, but sort of sideways. The goal of the sheet bend is to combine two pieces of rope that are completely different sizes. The bowline is a knot that will not slip no matter what. It's known as the rescue knot, and the principle still applies here. It's why it's used for the sheet bend. Hold two pieces of rope, completely different sizes. It's not gonna budge, it's not gonna move, and if you just really need that extra length, or you need to repair something and the rope just is not the same, this is what would be the best. It would definitely beat out the square knot. If they're the same size though, square knot would be a good knot to go with. The knot we'll be doing now is the bowline. What you're going to do is you're going to take your piece of rope, you're going to pinch it, and then you're going to twist it, okay? Now, an easy way that I've always taught the kids when I was working at the Boy Scout camp was, you have your tree, you have your rabbit's hole, okay, and you have your rabbit. Rabbit comes up out of the hole, goes around the back of the tree, then goes back in the hole. Then you're going to grab the tree, you're going to grab these, and you're just going to pull. And that right there is a bowline. As I've said previously, it looks very similar to the sheet bend, but it serves a little bit of a different purpose. This loop here, that's not going to budge. That's just going to stay a loop. It's not going to slip. It's not going to do anything. So if you really need to throw somebody a loop just for them to grab onto, maybe somebody's in the water and they need to be rescued, you'd want to tie this on the end of it to throw it on, so they could put this under their armpit and they don't have to worry about this tightening up and choking them, because they'd have a bad day. Now, the next knot that we're going to work on is the 2/2 hitch. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a little stick. I don't really have anything on me at the current moment, so I'm just going to use my leg. Now, this can be used for, well, you don't really want to use it for stakes. But if you need like a loop that's really going to cinch down on something, this is where the 2/2 hitch would really come in handy. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bring your rope right around what your log or your stake or whatever you're using, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to go under it and around, okay? See that? Just go under the rope, around, tuck it behind there, and then you're going to pull it. That's a 1/2 hitch. Now we're doing a 2/2 hitch. So we just do it again. Go up, tuck it under, go around, and what you're going to notice is now you have a little hole here. That's exactly where we're putting this end. Stick that in there, pull that down, and there you go. This right here is a 2/2 hitch. And as you can tell, just by pulling it, that'll cinch right up on whatever you need it to. Alright, now what I'm going to be teaching you is the timber hitch. This hitch, I find, is extremely useful for hauling logs and other things like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your rope right up against the log, okay? Now you're going to go around the log. You're going to come back. And now, tuck that under into the loop you just made. You able to see that? And now this piece of rope right here, you're going to wrap it around and around and around and around. You can wrap it around really as much as you really need it to. What this does is it kind of gives the rope a little bit of teeth to really kind of bite into that log, and then you're just going to cinch that on down. Now, that'll hold all right, but when I'm really hauling stuff, I don't really trust that. So what I do is I make a 1/2 hitch, just like for the, that 2/2 hitch. All right, we're gonna pull this. Make sure this is taut, so that timber hitch don't come undone. Now you're gonna take this around it, stuff that in there. You want to pull the rest of your line out. And now, timber hitch, 1/2 hitch, and then you got this rope. So you can pull the log nice and easy. This can be scaled up. You can use bigger ropes for hauling bigger logs. You could even use a really decent rope, and if you have a tree just falling on the road, you could always do something like this and then pull it on, put it on the other end onto your truck, and you could haul that tree right off the road. This is pretty decent. It's a really decent knot, very useful, and it just will not slip. So now I'll be teaching you guys lashings. So the first part of lashings is the clove hitch. we're going to be doing the square lashing, but the clove hitch is necessary for beginning it. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to go diagonally. Actually, you're going to want to go diagonally along your log, okay? Now you're going to want to take your rope around. Now we're making an X, okay? Bring that rope around again. Now you're going to take this and you're going to send it right under that X. So it'll look like this. Now we're going to take this end and we're just going to pull it taut. Now, that right there is clove hitch. So for the square lashing, we have our 2 logs, and what this is to do is to combine 2 logs for a cross. So what we're going to do is, just for this training exercise, 3 wraps and 3 fraps. So a wrap is over, under, over, under, over. And while you're doing this, you want it to be very taut. So these are wraps. So as you can see, now we have 2. So we want is 3 on all of these logs. Now at this point in time, we have 3 wraps, but we don't have our 3 fraps. So you're probably wondering what the hell a frap is. So it's very easy. So now that we have it right here, all we're gonna do is go over and then under. Let me put the phone down for a second. Thank you. So now, as you can see, what I did was I took the rope, I went under here and around, and all that I went against is the rope. Now I'm going to pull this as taut as I can. We're going to go around again. And the whole goal right here is just really cinching down all those wraps that we did. So that's the whole point of the fraps. You just really want to cinch down all that rope. Because if we're doing our lashings for building a structure or something, and the rope isn't taut and it's not holding all the logs together real snug, it's going to be loose. We're going to have to worry about logs falling off, and it's just not going to be a good day. So now at this point in time, we have 3 wraps, we have 3 fraps, and we're done. So what do we do with the rest of this rope to make sure that this doesn't come undone? Well, goal for that would be end with clove hitch. So we're just going to bring it around because we don't need 2 clove hitches right on top of each other. And we're going to do the clove hitch right here. So we're going to make that X on the log. We're going to go around. Okay. And once more, we're going to tuck this through. Now for ending this, you don't want this to get any looser, so you want to pinch it right around here and then use your other hand for loosening up the knot in order to send this through the middle. So I'm going to set the phone down for that. as you can see, another clove-hitch. So, grab this, tighten that up. Now we have our square lashing. This is one of the most basic lashings that you can make. And it's the first step in building just about any structure using rope and logs. Right now I have these 3 bamboo poles that are cut roughly around the same size. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make a tripod. So I'm gonna set up my phone. I hope the angle isn't too bad. And we'll get into how to do a tripod lash. All right. Now the beginning's the same as the square knot. What you're gonna do, you're gonna do a little clove hitch. So make that X, send that right through the middle. And you're good to go. Now, for the record, bamboo is a very waxy kind of a wood. It's actually in the reed family, it's not really wood. So any kinds of knots that you tie using bamboo, they're going to be slipping, they're not going to be very good. So you're going to want to use a kind of hardwood for any sort of actual lashings. I'm only using these for training purposes because it's a lot easier to cut down and they're a lot straighter than most of the wood that I'd find without chopping down a tree. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your 3 logs lined up like this. You have your clove hitch all set and ready. And now it's very easy. You go under, and you go over, and then you come back, going under, and then over. And you're essentially just going to do that, I'd say, about 4 times. The amount of wraps and fraps that you do is never really, it's not really like a particular rule. I think 3 is about the minimum that you want to do, but there's nothing wrong with doing more than 3. 3 is just like, you don't want to go any less than 3 because then it's just going to be too unstable. More than 3 is just going to be a lot tighter, but it's really up to the person, up to the project, and you know, what they're using it for. But just over, under, over, under, over, under, and at this point, I think we can start our fraps. I'm only doing 3. So like I said, I'm only using bamboo for training. So just like the other one, you just wrap it around. Goal of just tightening up all those wraps that we did with our fraps. Now, I wrapped this around 3 times. All I'm going to do is I'm going to go under, I'm going to go over, okay, one more time, and then we're going to start the fraps on the other side. In all honesty, I don't know if it's actually called the tripod lashing. This is a lashing for sure, and I use it for tripods, so I've just always called it that. Might be a more technical term. Now, we started with the clove hitch. We did our 3 wraps. We did our 3 fraps on both sides. 3 here, 3 here. Now, just like the square lashing, we're going to end with another clove hitch. Now, I've heard from some people that you need to have your clove hitch on a different log than where you started your clove hitch. And I've also heard that there's some debate over that. I'm not really going to get into that. Honestly, I feel like it genuinely doesn't really matter where it goes, because the point is just making sure that it's there and that it's not going to fall apart. So, I don't see why it would matter. However, if you're in the Boy Scouts and you're watching this video to try to get better, you might want to check your Pioneering Merit Badge book, because they might your counselor might actually care where it ends. So, have our X, and hold that there, loosen it up a bit, stuff that on through. And we're just gonna cinch that up. As you can see, working tripod. Now, I only covered just a little bit of the topics that are in this particular book. I did notice that in the Boy Scout Pioneering Merit Badge handbook, there's a lot more lashings. This particular handbook only has the square lashing. I found that kind of disappointing. However, this does have a lot of other lashings that aren't mentioned in the Boy Scout book. So I highly recommend getting this if you can find it. I find it very interesting and, you know, frankly, very useful. I hope you guys learned something. Please leave any questions, comments, or concerns, and I'll get back to you. The channel has an email address. You can email it to me. You can also just leave something in the comments, and I'll probably see it. Well, I hope you guys had a good day.